All right. When the cans crack,
All right.
boys get down to business. Happy 2026, everybody. We appreciate you all tuning in to the Extra Mile, first episode of the new year. Great 2025, and we're hoping to keep up the momentum going into 2026. Thank you all again for checking this out. And we are going to do a deep dive, a little bit more personal, kind of into what all of our goals are. Myself, Ryan, and Jerry, and as well as some of the strategies that we are going to use in order to get towards those goals. So I will go ahead. I'm going to kick things off. I will go ahead and say that this is probably going to be one of the least ambitious years that I've had in terms of my personal training, in terms of my actual goals. A few weeks ago, I sealed the deal on the 20th year of deadlifting 500 or more. So I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy with that, but that also means that that ship has sailed, and it was kind of weird at first to kind of be like, the ship has sailed, it's done. I was kind of didn't know what to think about it leading up to the day, but then it's funny. The second that it was done, I was just like, you know what? It's over. It's time to move on, and it's time to um, put that energy into something else. So for me, I'm pretty straightforward. The main goal that I have in 2026 is I want to run a sub 70 Boilermaker that has still eluded me. The Boilermaker is a 15K road race in upstate New York. It's where I'm from. I have done it now. I think the last year was the 14th year. So big 1-5 coming up. So I'm super excited. And it's nice to only have that as my main goal because it gives me more focus. And really, for me, the training starts from last July because the race is the second Sunday in July. So really, my training year is July to July. So for me right now, I'm kind of in the middle of like the second phase of my training cycle. So I always like to break it down by the year. And that, for people that are checking this out, and if those that aren't super familiar, the three main terms for planning out your training cycles are macrocycle, mesocycle, and microcycle. So they go by the degree of time that you're planning them for. So macrocycle, I know that the Boilermaker 15K is my race. That's the macro for the year.
Where is this race?
I'm sorry?
Where is that race? Baltimore?
In my hometown, upstate New York in Utica. So Saranac Brewery. That's where the finish line is. So it's great. It's a great draw. We have usually about 11,000 runners. So it's definitely a great time. A lot of community support. To me, it's like the Super Bowl of running for me personally. Like I know that New York Marathon, Boston, the higher profile races, certainly have earned their accolades, but there's something for me personally about the hometown and the way that the community comes alive during that time is super cool. And like to have my family there cheering, like my sister and my niece and nephew, my girlfriend and Hunter, and that's always been awesome. So the race kind of means a little bit more to me with that. And so that's why, like, now that I can kind of focus a bit more on it, that's where my year is kind of planned out. Mesocycle, in terms of like my mesocycle, now we're talking about about 3-month cycles now. So I'm basically in the second one. First is like my off season, and I start to do more strength training, and I scale back on the running because I like to kind of have that recovery. I got to listen to my legs. I'm 40 now, so I got to listen. And no matter how hard I don't want to, sometimes you do. And that's the couple months afterwards when I'm like, okay, I can feel it out, summertime, kind of see how things go. Right now I'm in the middle of the second one, which is ramping up my running, staying consistent with the lifting. The next mesocycle that I get into is going to increase the amount of races that I do, further increasing the racing intensity. We start to back down on the lifting intensity. And then the peak last couple months, everything leads up to the Boilermaker. So all the races leading up to it are kind of like time trials, I like to say, to make sure I got my running form. What can I do to improve? Like, just little tweaks. Because, I mean, the last 3 months are not going to change a ton. So for me, I just want to look for ways that, like little tweaks that if I can get a little bit of an edge, that's great. But really that peak is about, where is my pace? Where am I falling apart in the race? Where am I doing good? And kind of taking it from there in terms of, really peaking for the Boilermaker. So
what's your current PB?
71:46. I did that in 2019. So last year when I did it, it was exceptionally hot, and that's not to make it as an excuse. I probably would have tanked anyway. My legs were shot. But it was a hot day. Like, I think it was 86 at the start, and that was 8 a.m. So not that it was ungodly hot, but it was still enough to where you're like, shit, like I have to do more water stops. I got to slow down a little bit on the hills. And so that kind of interfered with this last race. But now kind of after, looking back at it, I can say like I could change a few things. It's like I think I'd probably taper a little bit more aggressively last 3 weeks. I probably would, maybe not race as many times. That's why I'm going to edit my race schedule and do less races, but quality. So those are all things that I took into consideration. And the thing that pisses me off, and I'm going to say it, the thing that pissed me off is I did a 15K in April. That wasn't the Boilermaker, obviously. And I did 68:45 or something like that. So I was like, yes, I'm right there. Even if like the course is going to be harder, I'm there. And then I just shit the bed. I just shit the bed.
April to July, that could be big temp difference for sure, even if it's the same course.
Yeah.
What pace is your goal time?
So 70-minute 15K is like 7. I think we're just under 7:30. I think it's something around there.
Yeah.
Like last season, like my best 10K was like 45:15, so 7:15 pace. So I figure like on a great day, I can probably carry that over for another couple miles. So I want to say that I really feel like I'm capable of like 68 to 70. I really think I can, everything lines up this season. I think that number will hit, and I'd be super happy.
Let's go.
So, and I want to beat my friend Steve, who has beat me 3 times in a row, and it pisses me off. So I have to beat him, and I won't rest until I do so. So
I like the simplicity of one goal. It's something like you've done before, you're familiar with. It's good, especially because it's like a transition of giving up 21 seasons in a row of deadlifting 500. No, I like the shift.
Yeah, and I kind of didn't see the shift being as easy as it has been, at least like emotionally. Like I knew I could do it. Like it's fine. It's training, but it's more like when you have to sort of reinvent things and you kind of really do have to take a new path, you just don't know. Like you just, it's unfamiliar territory. It's like anything else. It's like you put so much of your life into, something super specific that once you just cut ties, you kind of feel lost. And in a way, it's kind of cathartic because it releases expectations and it kind of helps me in a way to just kind of just send it. Like, we're going to do the best we can today. I might not deadlift 500, but damn it, I'm going to go out and, run 5-6 miles like I did this morning. Or like yesterday, I crushed prowler, farmer's walks, and all of that, like part of my conditioning. I know that, now I just feel more comfortable and just more like, I just feel like I'm having fun again. Like I am. Like the last like 2 years of the deadlifting and like the powerlifting, really, it was more of like I just wanted to say that I did it. and it was getting tedious because it was like it takes a lot to stay within 92% of your max, like for that long. You have to. There's a lot that can't be done. So now it's like, well, now we can do a lot more in some ways. So it's kind of cool. I'm kind of embracing it.
I've had a similar experience. Obviously, an injury propagated my switch from CrossFit focus to High Rocks focus. But why I've like leaned into it is it was just kind of like 8 years of hammering your head into the ground trying to get elite at burpees and handstand push-ups and handstand walking and muscle ups, and being able to go and be like, all right, well, I suck at running, so there's no expectations, no pressure, and the amount I can improve is now so big because I got to like a point where in the opener in the CrossFit semifinal or quarterfinals and stuff, it'd be like I would kind of finish 100th in Canada. And so you work every day so much to maybe next year you finish 96th. And it's just like, or you shave 10 seconds off a workout that you did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or it's nice now starting from a beginner's mindset again of like, I have so much to learn. It's going to help if I go back to CrossFit, having a VO2 max that's higher and a capacity that's higher. That's only going to help. So yeah, I've had a similar experience. It was like the transition. All my buddies still do CrossFit, and they're just like, "How can you just like not want to compete still?" It's easier than you think. I don't know. It's fun.
It's kind of like that I think the competitive side of us never leaves. It just sort of evolves. It changes over time, and we have different focuses. Mm-hmm. So I mean, obviously, you found a way, to a new venture, and it sounds like, you're immersing yourself. And I saw that freaking workout, dude. You did 2400s.
That was this morning. Yeah, that's
what the hell.
It's a classic workout, like track workout for
repeat 400s are awesome. I was just like 20. I was like, holy shit, dude.
I kept seeing it on Instagram and stuff of like 5K and 10K track runners doing it and complaining about it and hating it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. As part of my like 5K, 10K prep. So it was at I tried to do it a little bit quicker than my 5K goal pace. I knew the first 10 would be easy. Like they're not full out sprints.
Mm-hmm.
Like my full out, if I'm doing like a 10 by 400, rest 2 minutes between intense interval, I'm trying to hit that in like 75 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is 15 extra seconds per set. So I knew it was going to be doable. I just thought, especially after the day before where it was like a 2-hour zone 2, I thought I was going to get tired legs and just like muscularly sore and tired and kind of gas out a bit. I knew it would not be a heart rate issue because the rest was 1-to-1, mm-hmm. But it kind of 10th set, I'm like, all right, I got to pick it up or I'm going to feel like I wasted this workout because this is like one of my 3 hard running sessions of the week. So I started picking it up to like 3:35 pace and then a 3:25 pace. So I feel really good about my 5K goal now, knowing that was very doable. Yeah, it was a daunting one, but it was an hour. It was less than an hour. It was basically, I timed it so it was like a 100-meter walk between rest, just to keep the treadmill clock going. So it was a total of 10K, and it wasn't crazy bad, but I'll definitely do it again for sure. It's more fun than like some of the shit Ryan probably does too. Is like 7-minute threshold sets. Like those are just brutal for me compared to a 400.
Yeah, that
does some of those on the uphill treadmill too.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 by 6 minutes, like at 8% threshold, and then threshold heart rate, basically.
Yeah. That's way worse. Anything over like a kilometer. So if it's like a 4-minute kilometer times 10, 1 minute rest between is like my go-to high rocks prep, because that's kind of a threshold pace. 1 minute rest is not a lot, and you do it 10 times, it's hard. But as soon as you do like that pace for 5 minutes, oh, now it's over. Just like that, it's so much harder.
Yeah. One of my favorite like workouts similar to kind of what you described is 16 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off. And the on is essentially a sprint, and then the off is like a float recovery. So a little faster than your easy pace. But it gives you like a little bit of time for your heart rate to come down, but you're basically in your threshold heart rate that entire time. So 32 minutes.
I need to start doing those like jog recovery floats between sets, because everything I've done to this point is essentially been like standing or walking rest. And I find it so much harder to keep running. Like,
oh, I bet.
Yeah, to get your heart rate down. Like in 90 seconds after the 400s, my heart rate was probably going from a 168 to a 120, and then or 115 or something. You're starting pretty darn fresh. You feel pretty fresh for a minute of that, a minute 25. But if you had to keep running, that maybe goes down 15 beats at most.
Yeah.
And then it goes up to 180. Oh, that'd be brutal.
Yeah, I think it's a good baseline to do like once every 2 months or something. So then
was that what you just did yesterday, or was it 2 minutes on, 1 minute off?
I forget what I did yesterday, but I did this workout like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I saw one of your Strava shares on Instagram or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I did
2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. Honestly,
again, I looked at it, I was like, oh, I could do that, and like off. Oh, the off is still running. Well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
That's not off.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I love those type of workouts. I've just been following a training plan from David Roche, this ultra runner, pretty much to a T.
Is it a specific 100K prep?
Yeah, it's like 100K to 100-mile prep. It's, I think, 12 weeks. I had to start over because I had a little injury, and then I started over. But he coaches like Olympic athletes, ultra runners that are winning these huge ultras, and it's essentially the same training plan he's giving those people, those athletes. And I've made so much progress. I just can't figure out how to stay healthy while making all this progress. So yeah, I'm actually
it's something I've been struggling with too, because like when my volume gets high, I get like I'll get a flare up of like Achilles tendonitis one day, or after breaking my knee, like kind of my tibia, hunting 3 years ago, I'm always susceptible to patellar tendonitis in my left. So I'll kind of like this today after that volume of running, and yesterday was 2 hours. I was like, like walking around making dinner. I'm like, there's something like tomorrow's 2 hour zone 2 is going to be like bike row ski with no running. Cause I'm trying to, cause I just need the time under that zone 2 pace, and it doesn't have to be running. So I'm trying to do more of more machine work and heavily like what I have at home as a bike, just to try and, because I'm not necessarily trying to condition my body for 100K. So I don't need that tissue conditioning to be running and hammering the pavement or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I'm always struggling with, because I never want the reason I adjust my training is because of a flare up I know is going to come or know is going to happen. So I'm kind of learning as I start running more. Like I really want my weekly volume right now to get to 50K a week.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot for me when I'm doing everything else. So we'll see. Right now I'm kind of like 40s comfortable, but to fit another 10K in there, because I'll do like 2 hard threshold sessions, 2 zone 2, and then a long run. And unless I do like a 3K warm up, 3K cool down for my 8K threshold, if I do that, then I can accumulate volume pretty high and get to close to 50 with like a long run at about 14, 15K. But I don't always like doing a 3K cool down after a threshold session and stuff. I don't always have that like time because I also like to lift and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll go over my goals quick. So I have a lot of goals written out. All of them go to one goal. So all I care about is getting a sub 65 Hyrox. The goal being a sub 60 next year, but sub 65 I think is realistic stretch goal this year. To get there, I have to become a much better runner. And so that's where a sub 40 10K comes into play. Is 10K run is a good pace metric for a Hyrox in terms of the running. To get a sub 65 Hyrox, I'll have to run about a 4-minute kilometer for all of the 8 loops, which means I need to be able to beat that in the 10K. So I'm a sub 40 10K is the goal. I also, a sub 19 5K is, I just feel if I can hit a sub 40 10K, there's no question I can hit a sub 19 5. Sub 7 2K row is just so I don't forget about the machines other than running, because the other machines matter. And I was only 12 seconds off that a year ago. Haven't rode much since, but I think I can get there without too much effort. The sub 330 marathon is just something I think I can hit. I probably have to improve a little bit, but I know if I do hit that or strive for it, my running will improve a lot. And then the last 2 goals I have are basically so that I don't let my strength slip, which is a 405 back squat and a 500-pound dead. You have to be a great runner to be good at Hyrox, but you also just can't be super weak. That's what I'm struggling with, because I already think I squat probably more than the best Hyroxer. So I don't think I actually need to do that, but I wouldn't feel great. I think I did a post about Ryan in this context the other day, but if I run a 330 marathon, but I can't squat 375, then I wouldn't be happy with it. I just I wouldn't have thought I've done everything I could, because it just takes time. Like, someone asked me, like, why is it so hard to still maintain that strength while you're running a lot more? It's most of the time, it's just time of like recovery time, making sure you have to run a lot of volume, but if you still lift and eat enough and recover enough, it's possible. Hybrid athletes do it all the time. So it's just an excuse. If I were to let my strength slip, it would just be laziness. So to hold those, like, I don't need to gain, I'm going to lose some strength, but I'm going to try and hold as much as I can. So those benchmarks are just like, all right, I need to squat twice a week and I need to deadlift twice a week, and then I can hit those. But all of those stem from like the goal of a sub 65 Hyrox. So that's the gist of it. If I don't think I can do a sub 65 if I can't do those other than the squat and deadlift. But So it's if I do hit a sub 65, but I don't hit all the others, then I probably didn't test them or something. I don't like it. One of the like peek behind the curtain of the reason of having other goals than the 65 High Rocks is if you haven't done one, it's very hard to get a ticket to High Rocks. So Ottawa just released their tickets. They sold out in like under 60 seconds, and we didn't get one. So that's like if Toronto sells out and we barely got tickets last time, then I might not actually be able to test that unless I go somewhere else. So I also want like a marathon. I know I can do at any time. I can find one in the US every weekend. There's always two in Toronto in the fall. So a last minute thing, I can always do that. But yeah, that's the breakdown of mine.
When would the High Rocks be? Like, when is the Toronto one?
So the Toronto one's start of October, I think. It was October 4th and 5th the last couple of years. Then the Toronto Harbourfront Marathon, I believe, is within 2 weeks of that. We're doing a Miami High Rocks with my wife and I are doing one combined. We will not hit 65 minutes, but that'll be a fun one, more of a fun one that we do with a little trip. But I'm going to try and get to like even the New York City High Rocks, something like that would be fun. But the ultimate goal will be Toronto just because of the time. So I'll have time to get there. I got to improve my running a lot. Andrew, top 100 in Canada puts you it's probably top 2,000, top 1,500, something like that. Like there's population base kind of works. So like US base is 10x Canada population wise, and the CrossFit Games leaderboard is usually around the same. So if you're a top 100 in Canada, you'd be a top 1,000, or actually Canada tends to be a little bit higher. You'd probably be like a top 700-800 in the US. So I can't remember my exact, but I think it was top 2,000 or something. That's the other thing is you could do High Rocks. You could go to like India and then you could win a High Rocks. No shame on the other countries, but there are some where like a 65 minutes winning the event, which is insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Just not as many people do it, or they're just
I think it's just not as many people are doing it.
But not as fit as you Canadians?
I don't know. I just think there's not as many people doing it out there into other, because it's a huge global thing. But I don't think there's the same appetite as the US and Canada where you can't get a ticket past 2 minutes of it being for sale.
Yeah, that's wild.
Cancun, I think, is having one. That'd be kind of nice.
That's a nice setting.
Yeah, make it part of your trip.
Oh yeah. Jerry, I wanted to ask you, with your training, and you kind of highlighted kind of feeling a little banged up. Do you like notice at a particular mileage or after a certain duration of time that you experience the symptoms more so than others?
I feel like it's two factors. So either my running's elevating. Now most of my running, especially right now, is on like an assault runner. Or if I'm in a hotel, it's on a motorized treadmill, which is I do pretty well on. Like I never get too sore on those. In the summers and stuff, when I'm kind of prepping more for like last year's half marathon, and doing more road work, I definitely, as the mileage goes up, I definitely feel it. Right now, it's a lot more like what I'm doing around the running. So my running is kind of like pretty consistent every week of threshold on Monday, long zone 2 on Tuesday, threshold on Wednesday, long zone 2 on Thursday. Probably like a High Rocks sim style thing and a long run on the weekend. So the sim might have like 8K of running in it. But it's the stuff I'm doing. Like, am I doing 150 heavy wall balls on Monday and then 150 heavy wall balls on Wednesday after those runs? And because I like to stack thresholds with hard leg day stuff as well. So that the days that I'm doing just 2 hours of zone 2, it's low impact and it's just zone 2. I'm not also lifting. I might pair like a zone 2 day with an upper body strength, but I'm kind of leaving my legs to recover those days. So today was the 20 by 400 and then ended with, well, thanks to Ryan, about 120 push-ups, but then heavy wall balls, I think 130 30-pound wall balls, and part of an EMOM in like 8 minutes. So it was like a little 8-minute heavy wall ball session, which blows your legs up a lot. And I started to feel the patellar tendon, Achilles a bit. That was kind of like, okay, it's a sign. Also, I squatted really heavy on Sunday and then really heavy on Monday, which was just I did it at home on Sunday, and then I went to the CrossFit gym, and the programming lined up with the exact same lift I had just done the next day. And I just said, screw it, I'll do it. But that was kind of dumb. So that's probably why I'm feeling it more too.
Yeah, it's probably a couple heavy squat days and running 1 trillion miles at max threshold will that adds up, man. So
yeah, but it's I feel like it was worse last year where I was kind of really new to running at all. Whereas this year I kind of see it and I'm not gonna run for my zone 2 tomorrow, and then I'll probably be perfectly fine to go again on Friday.
Right on. No, that sounds like it's all been you got it pretty well mapped out, man. You got some ambitious goals. Sounds like you're gonna be right on track, and you've been crushing it so far, man. So keep up that awesome work. It's good shit.
Appreciate it.
Ryan, what are you up to, man?
So the way I kind of structure my goals are actually kind of similar to Jerry's. And actually, I've never heard of the training cycles like laid out like you described, Jason.
Either.
No? Yeah.
I should probably take some notes about an off season because I don't have an off season.
Yeah.
It's just go from race to race, take like, I don't know, between 4 days and a week and a half off, and then just training again. But my body's obviously paying for that. But so I would love, I'm a little bit injured right now, kind of something with my hip, but after this clears up, I would love to not be injured for the rest of the year.
When you say you don't have an off season, do you at least have because CrossFit's similar now where you have a lot of competitions. High Rocks, people are doing many a year. They all have their one they want to peak for. And the other ones are kind of, like Jason said, like time trials leading up to that. Do you have that, or are you like every race you're trying to crush it?
I mean,
do you feel like you're mentally and physically trying to peak for every race regardless of your yearly plan?
Not always, but I've never really put that much thought into like training races and like an A race. That's kind of why like this year I haven't signed up for as many races, because I want to give my all for the California International Marathon, and that's in December. So, well, I'll go through my goals because that's I'll touch on that. But so I've got this Black Canyon 100K in 4 weeks. That's in Arizona. It's a point-to-point race, net downhill. So probably need to start doing some, it's called say no to rhabdo runs, where you like pound your quads on downhills to prepare them for the race. So it's about that time it's starting to doing that. But my goal my A goal for that is sub 10 hours, which is a 9:39 pace. And really, I'd really just want to get to the start line healthy and with my hip not flared up. But if everything went great, I would love to do that. And that would put me in probably the top like 100. It's a super competitive race. There's 1,200 people doing it. So I'd be super happy with that. And then I would say my B and C goals for that are 11 hours and 12 hours. And then my D goal is to finish.
Well,
it is
I mean, if your goal is anything like when you told us your half marathon, you're like, yeah, I think I'll run under 135, and then you obliterated that or whatever it was by like 6 minutes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, 10 hours, you got this in the bag, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I typically am like fairly good at going out conservative. I really need to stick to it because it is easy in these races to go out really fast and then blow up. But I feel like if I go out at a conservative pace and just maintain it, I feel like it's doable.
I think I would go out so slow.
Yeah.
In my first 100, I feel like I would be crawling. Taking like 8 gels in the first hour.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing to do that. It's way better than just going with like the hype, and there's so many super fast like professional athletes that are going to be here, and I put myself in that first wave, so hopefully I don't get sucked into that, because there's literally people that are going to be running like a 6-minute pace.
Is Zach Bitter going to be there?
I don't think he is, but this one dude, Hans Troyer, who just won JFK 50 and clicked off it was like a 2:30 marathon in the middle of that 50-miler. He's going to be there. He'll probably win it, but
2:30 marathon in the middle of a 50-miler.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Insane.
Nah, that's so ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Did you have to, like, how does it work? You put your predicted finish time and that puts you in your heats, like the waves?
Pretty much. I think there was A, B, and C wave. And they start, it's like 7, 7:30, and 8. I also just wanted to start as early as possible so I didn't have to run through the night or get as much daylight as possible.
Right.
But I'm excited for that, just to experience that atmosphere of like, this is probably the biggest race I've ever been to, ultra race. And I'm excited to meet these professional athletes too.
So how does it, like, biggest as in like spectacle, and it's on the schedule of like the best elite runners every year?
Yeah, so this is a Western States qualifying race and also Western States golden ticket race. Okay. And there's only like, I don't know, I think there's 7 or 8 every year. So the top 2 males and females get an automatic entry into Western States, which is basically the biggest, most prestigious ultra in the world, other than maybe UTMB in France. And so it draws the best runners because everyone wants to go to Western States.
Is it a 100K?
Western States is a 100-miler.
Okay.
So there's some.
It's like weird to an outsider of like the Tahoe 200 seems worse. Like it's obviously, are those 200-mile races just not as big because they're just more crazy that you get less people signing up? It's kind of fringe.
Yeah. I mean, I think 1, it's newer. 2, it's completely different, honestly, than like a 100-miler. Like at least the elites, well, even not the elites, like most people that are in really good shape can run the full 100 miles, like without hiking and sleeping and all this kind of stuff.
So it's like 100 miles is the limit of like, it's about time for the 100-mile, whereas Tahoe 200 is about finishing.
Pretty much. There's a couple freaks out there that will run super fast times at Tahoe 200, and these like it's becoming more popular where the like athletes train specifically for the 200 and 300 milers, and they do it really fast. But it's way more normal for someone to run a really fast 100-mile time than a 200-mile time.
All right. So I guess it's like, yeah, marathon's super popular.
Yeah.
50K is super popular. 100K is pretty popular. 100 miles is less popular.
Yeah.
Popular.
And like sponsors, like if you're trying to get a shoe sponsor or something, they care about Western States, UTMB, and like these golden ticket races. Like they don't, if you win Tahoe 200 or a 200-mile race, at least right now, they don't care. And so because of that, it doesn't incentivize many athletes to run those races. Like they're not as competitive as these 100-milers.
The sponsors have to provide like 10 pairs of shoes.
Well, I mean, they're probably paying the athlete a salary, like
yeah.
But
there's also probably so much risk in sponsoring a 200-mile runner.
Yeah.
A race, like injury rates probably so high.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was a little tangent, but that's my first goal, and that's 4 weeks from now. So hopefully I'll get healthy. I'm actually feeling like really fit right now, which is exciting. So as long as I can get there healthy, should be good. I'm also talking to a coach that I think I'm going to hire right after this. So I'm going all in after. I'm ready to put all my marbles in. And so my next goal after this, I'm signed up for a 50K in Southwest Virginia. I'm doing that with Moose Herring and then my friend Trisha, who paced me at Tahoe. So I have another goal is podium that race. So top 3 males. I did the 50-miler like 4 years ago as my first one. It was hard. It's really mountainous. It's really pretty. It's like the highest peak in Virginia. There's wild ponies running around. It was really pretty. And I think I came in like 20th or something like that for the 50-mile. And that was before I really knew anything. And so I feel like with a coach and like, I just feel like I have a lot of potential, like untapped potential. So I'm excited. Hopefully my coach can help pull that out.
Especially in this field, you have so much time ahead of you that like most, just maybe the nature of the event takes a long time to build that capacity or whatever, the tissue resilience, but like you can do this very successfully in your 50s.
100%.
So it's we advise like getting a coach that maybe can help you not get injured and stuff, because you have so much capacity still to build.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons. Like in this, the coach is actually an athlete of David Roche and SWAP, Somewhere Called Play. And so his training philosophy is really similar to David Roche. And like, that's a training plan I've been following. So I really just need someone to help me back off when I need to, when I don't realize I need to, and like just cycle my training a little bit more so I can keep progressing in a safe way without my body forcing me to by getting injured, essentially.
It's going to be crazy to see what the ultra game looks like with all the young ones getting in, of like the BPN crew getting young people into running who are just out of high school doing 100Ks, 200 milers. It's interesting to see how that plays out.
Agreed. Actually, one of the best 200 milers or 200-mile runners I think he did Tahoe. I think he's 18 or 19, and he did 3 or 4 200 milers last year and came in the top 5 in all of them.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So that 50K is in May. So I'll really only have like 8 weeks to build for that.
So does building for that does that mean speed?
Well, we'll see.
Or is it about like hills and stuff too?
It'll definitely be hills too, because this specific one is really mountainous. So like it'll probably be it will be speed, like improving my easy pace essentially. But it'll also be a lot of hill strides, uphill treadmill. I'm guessing because that's what David Roche coaches. Kind of similar to what I'm already doing, but
okay.
Yeah.
I explained pacing to Andrew.
So a pacer is essentially just someone that runs with you, like a friend that runs with you, usually like the back half of a race. So for Tahoe, we got the opportunity to have pacers after the first 100K. So I ran 100K by myself, and then the last 140 miles or whatever, I had 3 friends run sections with me. So it's like a mixture of moral support, safety, especially like something long like that where you could fall off a cliff if you're hallucinating or something. And just someone to like keep pushing you, or, you know, especially in these long races, it can get lonely out there. So just someone to keep you going, essentially. So like Trisha paced me, I think 50 miles. My friend Kyle paced me 50, and my friend Forrest paced me like, I guess 35 or 40 of Tahoe 200. For Black Canyon, I'm having my cousin's boyfriend, Sam, pace me the second 50K. So he'll get to run basically half the race with me. I'm excited for that because he's also a run coach and is getting out of the Army, but he's super fast. So that should be fun.
I have a question. I was thinking about it yesterday. Because the theory on Hyrox is similar. Of like, you don't have to run. I mean, the best in the world are running like low 3 pace kilometers, but you can do well and go sub 60 if you're running like 3:45 per kilometer. And so it's not like you have to get that much faster, but your heart rate at a 4-minute kilometer has to get lower. That's
Right.
kind of what I'm battling is if I'm doing a 4-minute kilometer right now, I get to that next station with my heart rate at probably 160, and that needs to get to like 140 so that I have room to kind of push it on the stations and recover on the run. But that recovery still be at a 4-minute pace. The problem in like the science of running is it still means I have to get faster. It's like you have to improve your speed. Because I was listening to a podcast or whatever, and it was about Truett Haynes trying to go 2:15 marathon. And they were talking about like what his mile time is. And to a non-runner, it'd be like, who cares what his mile time is? But physiologically, it does matter of how fast you can run top end. And then that relates to how much you can hold. And there was someone talking about like like 5 seconds slower than your 5K pace is your half marathon pace, which seems so fast for a half marathon. But for elite runners, I guess that's kind of what it's at. It's just kind of interesting how you can't just get really good at running. You can't just repeatedly run 4-minute kilometers and expect your heart rate to drop. You have to actually get top end faster and build elite capacity at a slower pace for your heart to adapt to that. It's just a weird thing to learn when you're not from that space.
Dude, you're 100% right. I mean, David Rich says this, like, the person with the fastest 10K time is the person that's going to win these 100-milers.
That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you have to have endurance as well, but all the professionals have that. So it's really whoever's fastest.
It's interesting.
Because that just means your easy pace. Whoever has the fastest 10K time, your easy pace is going to be the fastest as well.
It's interesting how that works because I think when you look at like track, when you're outside running and you see track versus marathon, it's like, yeah, that you just see like sprinters I don't think that 100-meter sprinter is going to beat the marathon runner in a marathon, but those are kind of extremes that, like, when you talk about 5 to 10K, now it's running, not sprinting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll touch on the other ones real quick. So really, I do want to do well in this 100K, but I really want to focus on my speed after this. And so my goal for the marathon in December is sub 250, which would be Boston qualifying time. That's 6:29 pace, which is basically the pace I ran a half marathon in November. So I've definitely got a ways to go, but I'll basically have from like the middle of May to December to train for that with a coach, and I feel like it's really doable. And then
to give people context, that's about the pace to run my sub 40 10K.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a 6:29 is about a 4-minute kilometer, I think.
Yeah.
It's fast.
That's fast.
And then similar to you, Jerry, I don't really know how these translate. I just thought these times sounded cool. So like I want to do a sub 37-minute 10K, which is a 5:57 pace. And really I just thought a sub 6-minute mile average pace for 10K sounded cool. And then
sounds hard.
Yeah.
It does.
Good luck.
And then sub 18 5K, which is 5:48 pace, and a sub 5-minute mile. So those are my goals for the year.
I had a sub 5-minute mile on there just because of Jason. Yeah, I took it off because I just don't
Put it back up.
5 and 10K translates better to High Rocks, but I'll definitely probably test a mile at some point. I think I did last year. And it was like at the end of an 8K threshold session, it was a 5:30.
Nice.
So I feel like I could get there, but I don't know. We'll see. Mile sucks. As a Canadian, a mile is like 600 meters too far.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, those are my goals. And I feel like the way I think about goals is I want them to be like almost seeming like I can't hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want them to be so hard that it's gonna push me. And even if I come up a little bit short, I'll still be proud of the effort.
Yeah. When I talk about them, like I don't actually care if I can run a 3:30 marathon and squat 405 in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to become the person that can.
Yeah.
Right. So if I am sick for that marathon or a slight injury or something, and so those two things don't align, it's the fact that I lived a life of someone who can do that for a year. And that's the actual goal. The goal is not to hit some arbitrary number I picked out of a hat. it's to force. That's why you pick goals, is like you and I both picked goals that are tailored towards one bigger goal that we decided to choose. Because those are goals that if you can strive for that, then the lifestyle you're leading is your goal essentially.
Yeah, well said.
Absolutely.
All right. Any like last minute non-fitness related goals you guys have that you can share? My goal, one of them, is to read 3 books this year. I kept it real small.
I can get behind that. I like
Because
that.
that's probably doubling the amount of books I've read in my entire life, start to finish. I'm a big audiobook guy, but I actually want to read these ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, my goal is 3 books for the year. I'm currently at 0 pages, but pace, it's not a sprint. What else? One is drink. I don't drink often, but like if, let's say, what day was it? It was like December 20. It was like maybe Boxing Day or something. Went out for dinner with a couple buddies and had 4 IPAs. And I felt it on the run the next morning. And one of the goals is I'm not going to not drink anything. I don't, right now, I don't want to make that decision, or like, I don't feel like I need to, but instead of like capping it at 2 is kind of one of my goals for this year, is 2 beers for dinner on an occasion or whatever is what I'm going to lean into, I think. Because I do love the taste, love the flavor, love a nice IPA with a steak dinner and stuff. But I feel like even when you just go 3-4, you're not drunk. So what's the difference? But you do feel it in the morning. Or your at least your sleep is impacted. And then now you wasted a day of training. So that's kind of one of the big things, because when you do have goals that are like I need to maintain a lot of strength while getting way better at running. That means I can't have any wasted workouts. Like, I'm not going to just do a CrossFit workout for fun anymore. If I'm working out, there's going to be a meaning behind it, a purpose behind it, even if it's just loosening up and getting prepared for the next hard run session if I don't have one that day, sort of thing. Kind of that injury prevention stuff. A lot of what I get injured by is like going away from my defined schedule for the week, and a buddy is doing a fun CrossFit workout with a bunch of muscle ups that I like because I'm light and small. So I want to do them because I'm good at them and beat them. And then, my shoulder's sore and it ruins my next day, sort of thing. So beers would be the same. I think like 2 cap on the rare occasion I do drink is one of them.
I like that.
Solid goal. Very good,
guys.
I mean, I like your goal of reading 3 books. I think I might copy that. I'm in the habit of seeing someone post a book on LinkedIn and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. And I buy it. And then I never open it.
Yeah.
It sits in my
I've
house.
got a few that I got 2 that I need to read like within 2 months for work. But
actually I kind of forgot somehow, but I have been reading Matthew Ray Scott's book. Like actually most mornings. It's really good. I'm almost done. But if you like his LinkedIn posts, it's basically like each chapter is like a LinkedIn post.
Interesting.
Like it's really easy to read. There's not too many words on each page. And like, it's just little, really valuable, insightful, like, I don't know, each chapter is like 4 pages and it's just a little like chunk of really valuable information.
Interesting.
I like it.
I haven't got that one yet, but I need to get it.
Yeah. Another thing I'm working on, and it's actually been inspired by my wife. Have you guys heard of the brick?
Yeah.
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 So it sounds silly, but it's literally just like a little device where you put your phone up to it and it blocks like all the social media apps.
Mm.
And you literally like can't click on it until you unbrick yourself, like physically go up and put your phone on it.
Okay.
I think there's something to it. I want to spend less time on social media. Like I want to get on LinkedIn and look at you guys' stuff and comment and do my posts, but I don't want to spend an hour scrolling on it or
Yeah.
Instagram, that stuff. There's more productive things to do. So that's a goal of mine, is to be on social media less.
Yeah, one thing I've done for that recently is actually like making it a part of my work day. So let's say I'm a salaried employee, so I don't have an 8-hour workday, but let's say I want to dedicate 8 hours a day is kind of what normal. It's like in my schedule is, 10 to 10:15 a.m. LinkedIn, 4 to 4:15 p.m. LinkedIn. So it's 30 minutes a day where when I'm on it, I am being paid by my company to be on it. So I'm more targeted in what I'm doing for those 15 minutes. So that includes writing a post for the next day, scheduling it, engaging with my customers, engaging with people like reps and stuff, and just people and building a network. And so I don't kind of bleed into doom scrolling for extra time, because that time is now done. And then I have a next meeting at 4:30 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And I'm encouraging that I'm onboarding 3 people right now for my team at this company. And I think it's probably something they're not used to. They're definitely entry-level people that are joining. So it's kind of their first corporate gig, but it's probably a little weird saying like, hey, allocate 30 minutes a day to social media posting and LinkedIn and scrolling and stuff and building your own brand. But yeah, it's something I'm starting to do.
How did you get so many followers? I mean, obviously you make good posts and all that stuff, but do you like max out your connections every week?
I've hit a max for sure when I was launching cities. I don't
Yeah.
purposely do it and like to max it out each week or whatever on Sundays. Is it 150 a week?
I don't know what it is, but
I think it's like 100 or 200.
Yeah.
So when I was at IntelliJoint, what I was doing was I was responsible for is launching cities. So we would go into like St. Louis, for example, or Dallas with 0 users. And then we had to grow the city to a recurring revenue amount. Let's say it's $50K a month, which would justify putting a hire there. And then we would hire a W-2 in Dallas or St. Louis, put them there, and then they would take over the territory, grow, add team members, and then I would go to the next city. So we were flying into cities for like 6 to 9 months doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And out of necessity is me and my whole team lived in Canada. So we had absolutely 0 connections in these cities. We were just going based on like how many surgeons and surgeries they are. So I would I would search orthopedic surgeon, St. Louis, Missouri, or hip and knee surgeon, St. Louis, Missouri, and I would connect with all of them, send them a message or whatever, just connect. And then if they accept, they follow you. So I think like after launching a few cities was when I was at like 5,000. and then it grew from there. But that was like the big effort was initially launching cities and having to just connect with surgeons who had no idea who we were, what we did, who I was.
Right.
And then, now it's like, I feel like every post, you get like the summary. I feel like anytime I post about like my dinner last night, I'll get like 15 followers or something from something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, yeah.
I know. I think I still do. So, like, I'll still do that effort sometimes too. Like if I'm at Honor now, if I'm going to AUKUS or something, I'll have the AUKUS attendee sheet and then I'll add a bunch from there. Connect with them, and then they automatically follow you if they accept, sort of thing.
Right.
There's definitely like I've probably gotten close to the limit that week for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do that a lot. Like just max out on all orthopedic surgeons that I could see and reps. Really just anyone like in our space.
Yeah. I did that definitely at IntelliJoint for sure.
Yeah.
Because I remember they'd be like, can't send. It's like,
right. Is that when you decline it and then you can't do it again? Yeah. That's funny.
I probably have like 1,000 pending requests from surgeons in Dallas and St. Louis.
Oh man, that's good. They're missing out.
Yeah.
What's your personal goal, Jason?
To grow this goddamn business, to make Reignite a big thing, man. I really truly believe in it, and I think this is the year that that growth really happens. Before we kind of got on this call, Ryan and I were talking, and I was saying about how, like in the past, I've used other platforms to grow the business, and I've just really kind of spread my wings, and I've gone multi-platform, starting to do other types of like long form content and everything like that. And I'm just gung ho about making Reignite a legit thing. My trouble has always been in the past of like, the age old question of who do you serve? And it has always been hard for me to narrow that down because I've always had kind of a variety of people that I've seen at any given time. So it's always been kind of hard to just be like, I help, my tagline on LinkedIn, I think right now is I help healthcare professionals reignite their lives to blah, 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 blah. And like some of my clients are healthcare professionals, but there's been plenty of others that had nothing to do with healthcare that still did great. So really, for me, it's about, putting my philosophies out there and packaging them in a way that resonates with people, and just to really find that audience. I was telling Ryan, a lot of my success initially did come from Facebook before I started a bit more on LinkedIn. But honestly, like in terms of like what I kind of need to do in terms of spreading my wings and really growing this is to look outside. And to really I really want to grow a new audience. Like I really want to, I have this vision of the things that I want to do in terms of like, changing really the way that we look at health span and the way that we look at longevity, and not in terms of a buzzword, but in terms of applicable shit that you can actually do. And, I've always been, I've always kind of resonated with that, and I've always kind of resonated too. And I want to reach out to more of the people that are in that sort of zone of like, not to say despair, because, there's levels to that, but like people that are truly not like all happy with things, like that come from like the more blue side of life. I've had plenty of experience on the feeling kind of down and like the anxiety, depression, ADHD, you name it, whatever. So I kind of feel like there's a soft spot there for me in terms of like who I can really bring into that world. So my big personal goal is to make Reignite, a legit brand, and for one that I'm looking to be proud of. I want to have people find the spark. Like I want
That's
people-
an interesting angle, because reignited in the name kind of speaks to that. But people who are down or deal with anxiety or deal with depression probably have a lot of benefit if they can exercise and kind of turn their life into a different direction. But it's probably, I've never struggled with that. I could not imagine how hard that is.
Mhm.
If I love exercise and am very happy and I still sometimes don't want to go to the gym, I
Mhm.
can't imagine. And yeah, I mean, I've talked to people in my life and stuff that have anxiety, and I like can't relate to them.
Mhm.
It's tough to like help, because nothing I say resonates, because I just I don't deal with it.
Mhm.
So if you do have that experience, I feel like that's a huge benefit. And they also like that might be healthcare professionals.
Mhm.
But it also might be a ton of different people. And if you
Absolutely.
specialize in that, it could be like, I almost see like it's part counseling to get them to reignite something.
Yeah.
But in a way that you have experience, which is interesting, and expertise.
Yeah.
I always, I'm sure you guys see all the time on LinkedIn. It's always like I struggle with I help high net worth investment bankers in Maryland get back to fitness or whatever, like whatever it might be. Or I see so much of that on LinkedIn, like, damn, that's really pigeonholing yourself. Like I love your stuff, but I'm Canadian and I'm not an investment banker. So am I gonna follow? I don't like, it's just kind of funny.
It's it seems to be like that tagline is like this philosophy that went around it, and I totally get that, because it does feel like it's pigeonholing a little bit. And it's like, if people read the tagline and they're like, well, shucks, like I'm not a runner, or yeah, like you say, like
I
I
do,
don't,
I
don't
do get it
suffer
though.
from this.
I do get it. I'm peek behind the curtain of our companies. I'm starting to teach people how to use LinkedIn more too, because we have a competitive advantage. So Ryan, for example, he's a rep with Mend. So one of the competitive advantages we have compared to Mend that we need to take advantage of is we hire our own salespeople, and we have W-2s on salary. So
Mhm.
for me to go to an account, set up a table with fruit and protein bars and free protein samples and bundles and product, and give every single one of the patients that come to the clinic that day free protein, free fruit, talk to them, educate them on nutrition and the perioperative period. We can do that. Men would have a harder time doing that, because a lot of their salespeople, it's the fourth thing in their bag or whatever. It's like, Ryan's got cases to cover. He's not being paid a salary to go do that. So in the same sense, is I have a team now of 3 people that can amplify their own brands on LinkedIn. And if we have 20 employees that have personal brands building on LinkedIn that all sell the same product, the volume will be very high, and like the corner of that area will be a lot easier than convincing 1099 reps to post about Mend all the time or whatever. So I'm trying to encourage a lot of my teammates to leverage the power of LinkedIn, because when surgeons come to you asking for something, that warm lead, or like they do the cold call to me as opposed to vice versa, the sale is so much easier. But I do kind of tell them, which maybe this tagline theory comes from, is I am not going to appeal to every orthopedic surgeon, all 10,000 orthopedic surgeons in the United States. But if there's one that's into hockey, hunting, or fitness, I better capture their attention. And then if they want a nutrition product, I'm more likely to be the one they go to, because they know and trust me. That's, how many hunters or how many like hunting surgeons want nutrition? Maybe it's of the 10,000, it's 80, but at least those 80 I get, so I get to work with and help them. So that's probably similar to the tagline thing of like making it so specific that when it does resonate, you got them.
Yep.
But I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world to broaden that a little bit and, challenge that status.
I agree.
It's like it's not super, like what you were just talking about, that's fairly broad and a lot of people experience it, but it's still specific enough that you have a skill set to cut through to those people and actually help them. That's a huge market to help.
Right. And that's a whole thing, is trying to, capitalize on the market. That's a whole, it's like psychology in of itself. And you kind of just went over that in terms of that warm intro and kind of getting people familiar. And I think, to your point, having a more broad, at least initially, when you're kind of like farming like new people, you're kind of really intentionally trying to grow, like you're really connection requests and high up and everything like that. I think, to your point, it might not be the worst thing ever to put a little bit more broad tagline in, and then as they follow and they resonate, like, you're into like the hunting and like the, like hockey and fitness, and I'm like kind of like on, music, fitness, the Chicago Bears, and Ryan ultra marathons and everything like that. Yeah. I mean, I think that, at least initially be like, oh, fitness, that's cool. And they click. And then after, say, 8-10 posts where you're starting to get warm, it's like, oh, this dude's pretty cool. Let me, if it's, you're trying to connect with them, it helps. So definitely, to your point, that I think that having at least initially, to kind of just cast that net, it might not be the worst idea.
Yeah, it's just because I was saying, like, let's say Ryan worked for, was a W-2 for an employee of another company. So let's say he worked for Honor, for example. If there was an orthopedic surgeon that was an ultra runner, they're buying from Ryan. Like that's just like a connection that's so deep and specific, and there might be 50 of them out of the 10,000, but you just had like 50 sales off the bat is pretty darn good.
Is that a job offer?
I mean, no, you didn't apply. I just had the job posted. No, it was hiring people is tricky. I had like a ton of great applicants from my LinkedIn network that were US based. But a lot of it is like tricky juggling the team that's in Canada, hiring one that's remote. Entry level in Canada versus entry level in the US is different. The dollar is different. It was just like we couldn't offer quite enough that I felt comfortable hiring some entry level or like some mid-level US people. And we had some like phenomenal candidates like, yeah, I'll take a pay cut. And I'm like, a $200K pay cut? Like, I don't know if that's going to sit well with your, you and your wife when you get your first paycheck in a month. So yeah, it was, we hired a great team, but it's always tricky.
100%.
All right, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're well on our way to a successful 2026 across the board. We got some work to do. We all do, and I'm excited to see you guys crush it, and to see what this year brings. And I think we got this one in the bag. So I think it's going to be a great year.
Well, you might have it in the bag. I don't know if I've got a 500-pound deadlift in the bag.
I mean, if you need some, motivation to get there from this old guy, I got you, man. I
feel weird saying I want to deadlift 500 when you've done it 20 years in a row, and I want to run a 40-minute slower marathon than Ryan, but it's that's the hybrid life.
That's right.
Hey, man. My new personal goal is to have as many followers as Jerry. There we go,
The
Jerry.
goal is always to be a strong, slow runner and a slow, strong lifter, whatever the saying is. A weak lifter that's better than that, whatever.
Oh yeah,
It's just
Love
pain.
it.
Stay hard.
It's just pain.
All
Shout out. All right, take care, boys.
right, guys. Been a pleasure chatting, and we'll keep everybody alert on the next episode. All right, thank you all for tuning in, and looking forward to the next one.
Peace.
All right.